Let's get loaded on Lansdowne.
I'm studying my notes.
Yeah. A lot of notes today. A lot of notes. All
All right.
right. Yeah. I put the time in this week. All right. Welcome to episode number 113. 113. 113 of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Chacaris. Alongside me, always, is Andrew Andrews. And it's opening day today. Red Sox are currently playing. And we have a 4-3 lead right now.
There you go.
Which is nice. Don't know what happened. We were setting up for the show. But we'll give you guys updates. Not that you'll need them by the time you listen to this. So a couple of things, a couple of real important things really have to do with, again, contract extensions and so forth. So the news came out this week. Rafael Devers rejected the Red Sox contract extension offer. It was larger than the one from the guy from the Cleveland Indians, Guardians got. Chris Cotillo of Mass Live says the two sides are very far apart, and Rafi doesn't want to negotiate until the offseason. Of course, Devers is a free agent after next year. Now, I was kind of upset with that news, but, I said, look, they got a whole nother offseason. But then I saw something on Facebook groups, and I didn't like the source, so I didn't put it in here.
Okay.
But then ESPN reported it. The Red Sox offered Bogaerts a contract, and he was like, no. Yeah. So clearly, those guys are going to be commanding, mid 30s million.
Yeah,
salaries.
Unfortunately.
So it's like, and I think the Red Sox have to pull. Let's talk about Devers, because that's who I kind of, the Red Sox have to pull the trigger on this guy, all right? Because he's 25 years old, and I know, look. No one wants to give out a 10-year contract to like a 31-year-old.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense? No one wants that. Okay. But this dude is 25. In 10 years, he's going to be 35. He still might have another couple of years after that. If he's, if he keeps his health up.
This probably won't be his last contract unless something really bad happens.
Right. Yeah. So, I think if you're a Red Sox fan and you're skeptical and you say, no, they don't give long contracts and that's what handcuffs people and da-da-da-da-da, I argue he's young enough where a 10-year contract, I would give him a 12-year contract.
I do. It's a lot of years, man. You're really tied up to somebody for a long, long time. But in 12 years, either $30 million is a bad contract, or the sport's gone.
But that's that's the other great point. Is that think about 5 years from now, how much a player of his caliber is going to be. He's going to probably DH anyway. So that physical pounding his body's going to take. When JD Martinez is gone, I think he slips right in there. So you're paying him for his bat. I think they got to make it a priority.
There's a groundswell too of, and I really think it kind of starts from the philosophy of the Red Sox, and then it's just been picked up on, and all these people like to sound like they really know what they're talking about in baseball. Like, why do we care about defense so much now?
Yeah.
I get it's important, but like, Red Sox won a lot of championships with the attitude of, just play okay D.
They won 2 world championships with Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, notoriously bad defense. So right.
And Trot Nixon was okay.
So there's this, and when you talk about Bogaerts, you talk about Devers, there is this kind of like this. The story thing I know you like, and I know he's good, but it really seems like he is the person they're going to use to just kind of run Devers out of town.
And Bogaerts?
Bogaerts, yeah. It seems like they're doing it again, where it's just like the
Lester Price thing, the Lester Price.
Yeah, and the second they decide somebody's really not their dude anymore, they just.
Yeah, again, the news is, I kind of read up on it. I think the news came out earlier today, that they are going to make him another offer.
Yep.
Like, I don't know when that's going to be, but, I know he doesn't want to talk about it. But if they are waiting for the offseason, that's fine. Hey, look, maybe it was just...
That's bullshit, too. The whole, we don't make offers. No, the team and the agent can just, like, make offers.
Right.
And
you can concentrate on baseball. That's why you hire an agent. So if the Red Sox come back, be like, we'll give you 10 years at 40, right?
Yeah, so
he's not gonna be like, oh, I'm not negotiating.
Yeah, no.
Okay. But I think, I think in honesty, if the Red Sox aren't truly listening to, like, going up to players like Bogaerts and Devers, who, right now the Red Sox infield is pretty stacked, right? And you say to them, what do you want? What do you want for a contract, right? And they tell you what they want for a contract, okay? And again, with the logic that we just put forward, okay, how is this contract going to look in 5 years as far as value goes for the player, a player of these guys' contracts? I think you have to do it because.
But you're still the Boston Red Sox. No,
I'm with you. What I'm saying is, I think it's beneficial to do something like that now because it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Also I have here, I think it sets a dangerous precedent for a lot of these young players coming up. So they have a lot of prospects that they're starting to rebuild this farm system here, and they start to have these great prospects. Well, what are we doing? Do we, is an older player going to tell a younger player, hey, listen, this is the last year of my contract. They lowballed me. They lowballed John Lester.
Make sure you work hard when you're on the road because you're going to be playing for one of those teams soon.
Right, exactly. and I just think that you don't want the younger players to be like, oh, well, this is my temporary home. Like, this is, you know what I mean?
No, I agree 100%.
You want them to be like, I want to be a Red Sox for life. And I know that that's a distinct possibility because they take care of their elite players. They're elite players. You're not going to give another contract to Christian Vasquez. You're not going to give another contract to, unless it's like, unless it's lowball.
I think you're seeing, and you don't want to happen, kind of what's happened to the Patriots,
right?
Where it's kind of like, we're going to sign you, we're going to coach you up, and then you're going to have to go somewhere else to get paid.
Right, and
it's kind of understood.
There's no Tom Brady anymore.
When you had Tom Brady, it worked, and it seems to be an issue. So I do hope it doesn't become an issue because I really think that I don't want to hear about the money and they're worried about this unless somebody gives them something great. Like if someone goes insane and gives them and gives Bogaerts 40-something million a year or whatever, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the day, if like they're off by $3 million a year, I'm gonna go fucking bananas.
Right. So we offer $35 million a year. The Cardinals offer 38 and we lose them. I mean, come on, man.
Well, it's this Chaim Bloom, and everyone starts, well, Tampa does this and Tampa blah blah blah. They're still the Red Sox.
Right.
When I say I want Chaim Bloom to be like Tampa, I want him to like draft like Tampa, but spend like the Boston Red Sox.
Right.
Like do both of those things, and you're going to be really good.
Right. Because then you can balance homegrown talent, off-season acquisitions, and mid-season acquisitions.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you keep the guys you really like, the guys that are good but are being blocked at some position by someone else. You can trade them away. They're going to be good players. They're going to be good prospects. And then you can bolster your lineup mid-season or, again, in the offseason. All right, moving on. Chris Sale is hurt again. And when I say hurt again, I don't mean the original hurt.
The ribs.
Okay? I mean, it was the ribs. And then last week, from what I heard, he was ready to start throwing. Then, all of a sudden, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before he even starts. So they were saying on Felger and Maz that it might, you might not see him till June.
All-Star break? Are we getting there soon?
I'm asking you a question. Do you think we're going to see him in the first half of the season?
Oh, God.
Because I don't. I really don't.
And it's fine.
And is that a good thing, though?
I mean, listen, if he can come back, if he's ready to go in a half a season, I hope. The whole idea, but what's going to happen then when they start at the trade deadline? It's going to become, well, Chris Sale's coming back. Yeah. That's like a big trade, so we'll have to deal with that. It's super frustrating. You got some quotes you're going to read, and at least he's a little bit of humble. You know what I mean? Which is something very rare. I was starting to get really sick of him as the whole Texas tough guy, Beckett type deal. But go ahead.
Yeah, so he says, I'm in a shitty situation. There's just no way around that. This is from Alex Spear. I'm hurt, and I'm supposed to not be hurt. I'm supposed to be a very, very big contributing factor to the team. I've not done my job for some freaking time now. Think about it. I had 1 full year in 17, good year, 3/4 of a year in 18, won the World Series. We'll call that one a great year. 19, I had the worst year of my career. ended up getting hurt in 20. COVID, Tommy John in 21. Tommy John pitched a quarter of the year in the playoffs, serviceable at best, I'll call it that. And then now. So I've been here for 6 years. I've given these people, us the fans, one full bleeping year. You kidding me? I wouldn't like me either. And again, I don't dislike Chris Sale. I dislike the fact that he was signed before they needed to sign him, and now you're seeing this, and I think we all kind of knew this was coming.
This might be the greatest quote from an athlete in the last, I don't know how many years. The idea that he talked about how serviceable at best, and listen, whatever. It just usually we'd go, well, hey, listen, you say what you got to say to sound good to the fans, and that's true.
Right.
But so many people don't even do that.
Right.
So at least he's taking some ownership of it. It sucks. Clearly, he's not happy about it.
And it's genuine frustration.
It seems like it is. Yeah.
But for me, unfortunately, where I am with Chris Sale right now is where I was with Dustin Pedroia, a bunch of years ago, where it was like, he comes back, he plays 5 games, and then you're always like, oh, I can't wait till Pedroia comes back.
But that was costing you like $6 million a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was a second baseman.
Right.
So that worries me. If you're at a place where it's kind of like, if he comes back, it's gold. That's a dangerous thing. I really hope the Boston Red Sox aren't at that point. I hope Chris Sale's not there, because if all of a sudden this 6 to 8 weeks becomes, which is a fancy way of saying 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
If this comes back and it keeps going, it's
because okay, 6 weeks, but guess what, Red Sox fans, he's got to go on a rehab tour. So he's gonna make 2-3 starts. So that's gonna be another 2 weeks. So again, that's gonna be.
He's got to start throwing.
Right.
Forget rehab. Forget getting better. He needs to throw from. I was gonna say a mound, but just
flat
throw the ball.
Throw the ball, Chris. But no, it sucks, because I'm at the point with him where I'm like, oh, Chris Sale's coming back. All right.
I'm not going to get excited about it. I'm not going to let anyone tell me that this is, the same thing as a big trade or a big signing or something like in the middle of the season.
I mean,
no way.
He could come back and put up a 4 ERA and be serviceable, and that's all you can get from him. He's clearly not. Look, he has to be healthy. We'll see what he can do, but right now he is not an ace.
He can't be, right?
Ace. I mean, he's not even pitching, so he can't be an ace. But the Red Sox have to, I think, address that a little bit. All right, moving on. A lot of interviews with Cora this week, talking about the Red Sox relievers, and he admitted that was a weakness in the team. Some of the thought behind, I don't want to call it an excuse, because it is kind of analyzing the situation, but some of the situation is that the shortened spring training, these guys haven't been able to ramp up. So you're seeing fastball velocity down, which again begs the question, what were you doing during the lockout?
Yeah, come on. And
you know what I mean?
The shortened spring season doesn't change the fact that if you look in the bullpen, there's not many faces you can pick out. And if you read the names, there's not many names No, the short season has nothing to do with it. You guys really didn't make any moves in the offseason.
Right, exactly.
No one's ready to come up, really.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the usual Red Sox spin. I know, like, they do this a lot with, Dustin Pedroia, saw a video of me pitching, and he noticed something. So evidently what happened independently of each other, Alex Cora and Matt Barnes saw a video of him pitching Cora from last season when he was effective. And then I guess, like, Barnes's wife sent him a video of a dog or something, or was it a dog or a baby? And he saw himself in the background.
Yes, he was throwing the back. Yeah.
And he was like, wait, that doesn't look right? So this is a quote from Barnes. He says, I think this is Cora, I'm sorry. I think it's something about his leg kick. Cora told reporters on Sunday, last year he was a lot tighter. Now he's like loose. If you want to use a reference, it's like a figure skater. When you open, it slows down. I think he means with like the twirls, right? When you close, you actually go faster and quicker. So hopefully that's what's getting him going. Barnes says, my wife has sent me a video of me pitching. I started looking at the actual video, and I'm like, man, it looks like my legs and arms are really far away from my body. I'm really upright and kind of stiff. So I get to my phone. I've got a video the Red Sox posted on social media in May of last year from behind. So I go through, stop it, zoom it, screenshot both. This is the world we live in. I'm swiping back and forth between them. I'm sitting in my car after the game in the parking lot here. I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, in this one, I'm a lot more compact in my delivery. In this one, I'm upright and kind of away from myself. So look, hopefully this guy can figure it out because we really do need him.
How come he didn't look at a video before?
I don't.
Why did it take his wife sending him some video of a dog taking a shit at the park for him to be
or
like,
his kid taking a shit? You know, I'm not sure. We're not sure if it's a dog or a kid.
It could have been at someone's birthday. But like this is like he didn't know. It didn't occur to anyone to look at videos of when he was pitching well.
We were at a carnival and I was trying to knock over some milk bottles.
I mean,
you know, like
there's plenty of videos and like.
Go back.
The Red Sox almost got thrown out of baseball because of too many videos. so like, there's plenty of videos.
Why wouldn't you, when you start to falter, why wouldn't you go back to your most dominant performance?
Watch.
Right? Or the last time you were pitching well, right? And be like, okay, what was I doing in these videos? The Red Sox, he has access to all these
Seriously,
videos.
no, it took him throwing a wiffle ball at Water Whiz while his kid was taking a shit in the wave pool for him to notice that anything was happening.
All right, so here's a list of characters in the Red Sox bullpen, okay? So Barnes last year finished with 3.78 ERA. You don't want to see that in your closer, certainly, okay? Do you have any faith in Brazier? His fastball is evidently at 91 miles an hour right now, which is not good. You know, his stats last year were fine.
When you're right-handed, it's not good.
You know, his stats last year were fine, but he only pitched in 13 games. You know, do you have any faith in that guy to bounce back to what he was before?
I have faith in him to have a couple weeks here and there when he's doing well, and the coaches really got to kind of figure out when those times are.
Yep.
You know, I guess. He's a guy.
Yeah. Cutter Crawford. Guy pitched one game last year. Got lit up. Gave up like 5 runs in 2 innings. He had a pretty decent spring. I was watching him, but again, he's an unproven commodity.
Is he one of those lumberjack guys?
No, he's not. No. He's got a little bit of peach fuzz here.
No.
We'll talk about the other guys' appearances in a minute here.
I don't know who he is.
Austin Davis. The pictures on here, folks, they slowly morph into like
reverse evolution.
Yeah, it slowly moves into like, you know, like people like selling moonshine in like the, you know, the Ozarks. They picked him up like throw a baseball, you know. Austin Davis, last year 29 games, 5.13 ERA. He's at lifetime 5.50 ERA, and his lifetime WHIP is 1.49.
He's left-handed. Something.
Okay, so there we start to disintegrate here. Looks wise. Jake Diekman.
Is that really? Hold on. Diekman. You think it's pronounced Diekman?
Dykman.
I wasn't gonna say.
I'll go with Diekman.
I wasn't gonna say it.
All right. ERA 3.86. Career 3.7.
I have no idea who the hell he is.
Listen, if you're a reliever and you can't keep. And look, I know relievers just get recycled. Like,
they're punters.
Like, you know, freaking plastic bottles.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta clock in at under 3, I would think, for the amount of innings you pitch. You know, this is the thing. People, you know, when you look at a closer, you know, a closer's ERA should be 1.8.
No, because if you give up 1 or 2 runs, you're already out of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Back for the attack, Hansel Robles.
Oh, he stinks.
He stinks. 4.43 ERA last year. 72 games last year. And I think they got him from the Twins, and then they re-signed him. All right. Hirokazu Sawamura, the dude with the crazy blonde hair. 3.06. He walks a ton of people. 1.45 whip. I don't know. And you know, we'll go down a little. Here's my boy Matt Stram. I mean, this guy fell off the turnip truck. Look, 8.10 ERA. That's good, right?
You said 8?
8.10.
Seems high.
He must have had a hell of a spring. Austin Davis,
Oh,
lefty. He's 5.13. Phillips Valdez stinks 5.85, and then you have your only stud, Garrett Whitlock. Oh, look at that, Andy. Is that lower than 2?
There you go. And the thing with Garrett Whitlock is that's why Barnes is so important. Barnes has to be the closer, right? Because you can't waste Garrett Whitlock in as dumb as it sounds as just a closer. You need him as someone who can do 2 innings, 3 innings.
Yep.
I mean, he's gonna,
If you can get Garrett Whitlock to do 2 innings, like stretch him out a little bit,
like 3 times a week,
come in like another starter.
Yeah, like every other game, he's good for 2 innings.
Because these other guys, right? Because we haven't talked about the rotation. I mean, the rotation is if Michael Walker got lit up the other day in his final spring training start. I think he gave up. I think he gave up 5 runs.
Walker.
So I think Rich Hill is going to be serviceable. Tanner Houck, I have a lot of faith in, but he's still a young guy.
I want to, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, someone on Facebook, wow, wait till James Paxton comes back. I have no...
We're waiting for James Paxton to come back?
We're not. I'm not. I don't even
someone
care.
has that penciled on the calendar?
I don't even care that he's on the team. You went
honestly, until the last 8 seconds of my life, I've kind of forgotten.
I did too. When I went through the 40-man roster, I was like, oh, shit, Paxton.
Yeah,
I about him.
I spent 0 time thinking about James fucking Paxton.
He could barely stay on the field for the Mariners. He went to the Yankees, and Yankees fans were like freaking touching themselves over this guy, and he that's the cleanest thing I could come up with on the fly. And he sucked for the Yankees, so I don't think he's going to give you much, to be honest with you. So I think the bullpen's going to be a real problem. I don't think the lineup's going to be a big problem. Interesting to have Jackie Bradley out there today. I think Christian Arroyo is going to see a lot of time.
I hope. I really don't want Jackie Bradley to be the third outfielder on a regular basis. I really want him just to be a defensive replacement and someone you can use. He'll have a week where he hits very, very well, like almost 500, and people are going to start getting really excited and grabbing themselves and all that stuff. But he
can't play against
left-handed pitchers. What was it? Like there was some stat last year, like some advanced analytic, where he was like the worst hitter in the last 100 years of Major League. Like if you because he was batting 162 at the time, his slugging percentage was one of those kind of stats that puts everything together, and he was the worst in over 100 years of baseball.
Yep. But we got those 2 prospects for the Brewers. And people like, oh, no, it's because of the prospects. And I was one of those people. It's because of the prospects. He's your starting right fielder.
Yeah.
He's your starting right fielder. So, I don't know. All right. And to your point, right, like everyone like defense crazy. All right. Yeah, I mean, you like to have him out there in Fenway Park. It's deep out there. Let's see if he can still track it down like he used to. I mean, I'm sure he can, but he ain't getting any younger.
No, and those the defensive stats, especially when you look at like WAR stuff, win over replacement. The best defensive player in the entire history of the game, his defensive stats maybe win you like 0.6 more games an entire season. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where like your hitters, you look at their stats and what their WAR is. It's like this guy wins you 12 more games. Right. This guy wins you 15 more. You know what I mean? Like, let's worry about the hitting. Come on.
Yeah. Well, again,
it's got to be professional fielding. It can't be, beer league softball players moving around out there. So you got to be pros. But
well, you think about it, and really, football is the only one-way sport. So in other words, like you're either on the offense or you're on defense, right? And it's a very, localized skill set, stat, stat reference, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, oh, this is what this player does. He's a linebacker, and he had 10 tackles. He had 10 sacks this year.
Yeah,
that's what he's supposed to do.
Boom.
That's all he's supposed to do, right?
Yep.
Nothing else matters. He's not. I mean, I'm talking about professionally. I'm not talking about like high school.
No, that's obviously playing everything.
Yeah, exactly. So baseball has it. Basketball certainly has it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they quantify it, and I guess block shots.
No, there's defensive stats and stuff like that. But think about contracts, okay? Yep. And like the reason for paying for somebody always, if you think about it, if the team decides to go with somebody who's way cheaper, their reason is almost always like, well, his defensive whatever will make this, and that's why it's so important. Whenever they spend huge money on somebody, do they ever tell you about their defense? Does that ever come up? That's like 15th on the list.
I was just about to say, unless it's after like hitting like power numbers, OPS, slugging. And then they'll be like
leadership skill, shotgunning beers. You know what I mean? It's down there.
How fun is he in the clubhouse?
Probably their golf handicap. You know what I mean? Like, that's more important.
It's true. I think maybe they'll talk about range. They'll talk about arm strength. But
listen, somebody can be a liability, and then you got to see if it outweighs it. But if you're not a liability,
exactly. I mean, Hanley Ramirez out in left field was a liability.
There you go.
He couldn't
that was somebody in a place where he shouldn't be.
Right. So I think that you're always looking offense first.
And they put JD Martinez in the field.
Yep. Yeah.
He's really not that good.
Yep. And on Steve Peralt's podcast, new podcast, they were talking about outfielders, and Cora totally dissed him. He's just like, a JD can hit. That was about it, but he's not wrong. All right, so we are ready for bad Red Sox Facebook group quotes.
Why do you have to put the word bad in there?
Because they're terrible.
But I figure it's just understood. It's Facebook group.
Okay. All right, this is regarding. I have something to add to this too. We have Red Sox, the Red Sox City Connect uniforms, the ones that honor the marathon, so they're yellow with the.
I think they're the best hats the Red Sox have ever had.
Yeah, I came around to them. I mean, if you're gonna do this thing, if you're gonna do the City Connect thing, I think they're sharp, and I think it does connect to the city in the marathon and everything.
Yeah.
So whatever, we've talked about that on various podcasts. But as you know, the uniforms are yellow and blue.
Okay.
So, someone on Facebook suggested the Red Sox should change the Boston to Ukraine and wear them on opening day. Your thoughts, Andy?
Opening day seems like a lot. It seems like a really, really like virtue signal.
Yeah.
Look at me. Listen, if you want to do it on a Sunday in a couple weeks or something and donate some money to whatever. All right.
Do we want the Red Sox on Putin's bad side? Will we be a target then at that point?
But we gotta be brave.
Yeah,
we gotta be brave.
We have to be.
No, I mean, listen. I think in general they could just give a bunch of money and not have to do something like that. It seems a little bit much.
Donate.
Yeah,
I mean,
here's what they would do. They would do that, and they would sell those jerseys,
right,
and not donate anything. Well, we raised awareness.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like the awareness was raised, and
John Henry would take the money.
John Henry would just be eating money. All right. All right. A question. This is a direct quote. A question for anyone to answer. Rafael Devers first came to the Boston Red Sox on July 25th. Doesn't give a year.
It was like 72 or something.
It's now April 8th, 2022. This is my favorite.
Is your life better?
So
how many times have you masturbated to Rafael Devers?
Tell me why. Can't speak English! Exclamation point. Lowercase I. Bet if you make a mistake paying him, he knows English. My friend who wrote this, let me tell you, you don't know English.
I mean, it's number one, he does. He just doesn't want to talk to you.
Right.
But like,
he does know how. First and foremost, he does know how to speak English. Okay.
Better than any of you know.
And
because he doesn't want to talk to you because you're nobodies.
When he's on camera, and this goes for like a lot of guys in the clubhouse and stuff. They'll speak English all the time. but they get kind of nervous on camera. They get they whatever. And first, finally, right? If
number one, if they can't, who cares? Like,
exactly.
They're rich enough that they can just make it work.
I was just about to say, like, let's say, whatever this person, wherever they work, right? Let's say they get their company ships them out to Japan, right? And you're like, oh, well, why don't you know it yet? Well, I have a lot of trouble with languages. Well, you just learn.
I know.
It's like, screw you.
Yeah, okay.
But just the sentence structure. Yeah. Tell me why I can't speak English,
idiot. But more importantly, it's like, no, he just. What makes you think he needs to talk to you?
All right, Andy, this one's for you. The best postseason pitcher in Red Sox history, in my opinion, the greatest pitcher in Red Sox history. And then they had a picture of a player. And I want you to explore the bowels of your hatred for Red Sox pitchers. And I want you to see if you can guess who this person thinks is the best pitcher in Red Sox history. Now, to our loyal listeners, you must remember that the Red Sox had a pitcher called Cy Young, and there was an award named after him.
No, but listen, he pitched when they were throwing corn cobs.
They also had a pitcher named Babe Ruth. They also had a pitcher named Pedro Martinez. They also had a pitcher named...
And none of these people are on this list, huh?
They also had a pitcher named Roger Clemens.
Okay, but hold on.
I'm going to give you a hint in a minute.
If it's who I think it is,
yep,
it'll really bum me out. I'm not bum me out. I mean, he was good, but I think I can almost tell you exactly what the person who said this looks like too.
Come on, you got it.
Does the person who said this? Is there a good chance like there's a broken down like washing machine in his front yard?
I would say that it was probably a kindred spirit to this particular person.
This person like into the Confederate flag. And conspiracies?
No, it's not Kurt Schilling.
So it's not Kurt Schilling. Okay. I thought it might be a Kurt Schilling kind of person.
No.
Okay.
But the other two things hold up. They hold up.
Give me a hint.
All right.
It's not Josh Beckett, really? The greatest pitcher in Red Sox history.
Josh Beckett. Texas tough guy.
Won him a World Series, but
then also and
everything else
with the chicken and beer. By the way, chicken and beer thing I got coming up. I got some great
Josh Beckett, the greatest Red Sox pitcher ever. Who wrote that? Mom.
All right, here's the last one. Unpopular opinion here. I'd be happy if we didn't extend Xander Bogaerts. He's a great player and all, but we don't really need him. We should sign a decent second baseman to a short-term deal or use Jeter Downs. Then is the Nick York show. Once Story's contract is over, Mayer takes over for Story, who will have been at shortstop. Chaim planned this perfectly.
So this guy's like 13 years in the future. Everything's all gonna work out.
Prognosticating, okay. I want Red Sox Nation to understand this. I know the Red Sox got Jeter Downs in the Mookie Betts trade. Okay, he was a piece in that puzzle. All right. As you know, I went to Worcester a bunch of times last year to watch the Worcester Red Sox. Okay. Jeter Downs hit under 200 last year, and he was the primary shortstop.
Yeah, but
or second baseman, whatever he was.
But that's a really cool park.
It's polarized. It's polarized. He's got a long way to go, folks. He's not even hitting 250 at AAA. So you think you're just going to pull this guy up next year? I mean, let's see how he does this year. Maybe he hits 350 this year, and I'm like, okay, I'll put mouth.
Drafts are good. Prospects are good. When you're the Boston Red Sox, though, you always go with the young, proven commodity. Right. Exactly. You know, it's not like they're going for a guy who's like 35, 40. You know what I mean? Xander's a little older than Devers, so I would pay Devers before Xander. But like, if I had to pick one of the two, I want both. And no way in baseball, some guy who hasn't. No.
Well, it's like he planned this perfectly. All right. Well, the Nick York could blow his knee out and never play again. Mayer could get hit by a truck. Like,
what level's Nick York at right now?
He's got to be in it. I mean, most AA.
So he's playing in fucking Portland.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me the guy in Portland right now, you know, can just slide right in for Devers and we'll be fine.
Right.
Like, come on, dude. No, that guy in Portland is there, so you sign Devers and you trade him to get the pitcher to win the goddamn World Series because you're in that situation because you have Rafael Devers in.
Bingo. And I'm gonna check his blood pressure later. Final thoughts.
And I should have said Bogaerts. Damn it.
And,
I was on a roll.
Final thoughts. So I learned about this right before we started to come here to do the podcast. There is a documentary that was done by NBC Sports on the 2012 Red Sox season.
I've been seeing commercials on this.
With the whole Bobby Valentine thing. I have not seen this, and I was like, what the heck? So it's 11 episodes.
That I did not know.
Yeah. It's on
11?
They're short. They're
like 22-minute kind of deals, like boom, boom.
They're like
okay.
It's like 6 minutes long.
All right. All right.
It's a video. So
I got
it's not. You have to go on the internet to get it, I guess.
The what?
The internet. So I watched part of the first one, and it is really entertaining. Like I'm just like, oh my god, this is going to.
That
be
year was
fantastic.
amazing. It was
such a disaster, and let me tell you. I think we went to a game at the end of the year. Remember, we sat really close.
Yeah, we're gonna move right up because no one cared about it.
We moved right up, and and it was actually fun going to the park because it was like a car accident. Like you couldn't look away, right? You're just like, oh my god, this is awful, and you reveled in the awfulness.
By the end of the year, most of the real play, they were either traded or they were injured. You know what I mean? Like guys just are like, all right, we're done. Yeah. And it was a bunch of people you didn't know.
Yep. And I remember Bobby saying like, wow, they gave me a AAA roster. No, they didn't, Bobby. That you started the season with a really, really, really good roster.
You lost like 9 of the first 13 games or something.
And then the next year, you won the World Series. I mean, I remember Bobby Valentine. One point, he didn't know if the opposing pitcher was right-handed or left-handed. So someone was like, okay, well, so-and-so's pitching. I guess he was a lefty because how lefties throw everything off. So he's like, are you going to mix up the lineup and throw? And he's like, why would I do that? And they're like, because he's left-handed. And he was like, oh. That's called the game has passed you by. All right, you got anything else?
No, I mean, I'm excited for the season. I have concerns about definitely the bullpen and things like that. I don't think it's a bridge year or
I don't think so either.
And
you don't sign Trevor Story if it's a bridge year.
Yeah,
let things play out with Bogaerts and you just
and you roll, right? So I think they're good.
You put Arroyo at second base. Right?
They should be right in. And what's funny is you might have 4 teams from the AL East who make the playoffs because they're doing the new format. So you think about it. Toronto looks really, really good.
I still don't believe in them, though. I don't know.
They're still Toronto. So they're gonna do. I looked at a lot of stuff I was reading. Almost everybody's got them in the World Series this year. Yeah, I see that a lot.
I just they always find a way to screw it up.
And I'm excited to see what Tampa does because every single year they'll have some dudes who just stand on the mound and throw gas.
Yep.
No idea who the hell they are.
You'll never hear from them again, but they'll make it to the playoffs.
Yep.
I forgot to mention when we were talking about the City Connect uniforms real quick. Cora was talking about the uniform. So I've stated on this podcast 1,000 times, I hate the alternative.
The Reds, yeah. You hate the Reds.
I hate the Reds. I hate the Blues. Those are batting practice jerseys to me. I like to see the.
You insist on. I understand.
I like to see the home whites and I like to see the away grays. So.
And you don't even like the new away grays. You like the ones from the '80s where it was just that drab.
I don't know, not the '80s. I like the 2013 where they had the script, but it was just the block blue.
Okay.
I would like to see that block blue outlined in red, but don't get me started.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex Cora said you're going to see a lot less of the Blues because Eduardo Rodriguez loved the blue.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah. So every time he pitched, they wore blue. And, hopefully we'll see a lot less of those things. I don't get the appeal of them. I really don't. I don't think they look good. I don't think they're flashy. I think they I think
No, it's a warm-up jersey.
yep, that's a warm-up jersey.
I agree.
You know, when we were growing up, when you went to Fenway Park and you saw batting practice, when they actually took batting practice out of the field, the players had on blue tops with the red and white stripes. They were actually kind of money.
No, they were kind of neat,
but not for uniform, right? They were like pullovers, right?
Yeah, it's that weird pullover jersey material, but like not like
soft
Under Armour jersey material. It was like tight. It was like polyester. Yeah. Just like,
oh my god, yeah, it was like super scratchy. The 80s, what a fun time. All right, so that's it for episode number 113. It is in the books.
161 games to go.
That's right. By the way,
what do we got?
An update. Still 4-3, top of the 8th Red Sox. Let's see if this bullpen can nail it down. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. We are loaded on Lansdowne. This is my co-host, Andrew Andrews. We'll see you next week.
All right. Peace.